when adversity becomes your advantage. What if I told you that everything you've been taught about your pain, your setbacks, your struggles is a lie? What if the very thing that was supposed to break you is actually the thing that's going to build you? What if your adversity isn't your enemy, but your greatest advantage? Welcome to Soft Girl Era, the sacred space where strong Black women unlearn survival, rediscover softness, and reclaim the joy, rest, and freedom they deserve without guilt, without apology, and without explanation. I'm your host, LeAnne Dolce, pronounced Dolce, like sweet softness whispered in French, and I'm your guide from burnout to boundaries, from doing to being, from strong to soft, and loving every second of it. Today, I want to share with you the extraordinary wisdom I received from Talee, a visionary, a disruptor, and a living testament to the power of resilience and knowledge. Talee is rewriting the narrative for Black women everywhere, proving that adversity doesn't define you, it refines you. They are transforming lives, building bridges, and creating pathways for the next generation to walk in their power without apology. What they shared with me isn't just inspiring, it's revolutionary. And I believe it has the power to change how you see yourself, your story, and your future. So let's dive in. Here's what we've been conditioned to believe: personal setbacks, teen pregnancy, repeated hospitalization, family loss, financial struggle. These are the things that derail you. Society looks at a Black woman who's been through the fire and says, "You're done. You're limited. You're defined by your pain." And for too long, we've accepted that narrative. We've worn it like a second skin, believing that our circumstances dictate our destiny. We've internalized the lie that where we come from determines where we're going, that what happened to us is more powerful than what's inside of us. But Talia is here to tell you that's a lie. During our conversation, Taylor made it crystal clear: resilience and knowledge, not circumstances, are the real drivers of success. They shared their own journey with me, pregnant at 15, experiencing profound loss, enduring multiple hospitalizations, yet still putting their son through school and pursuing their own education. They didn't just survive, they transformed. Where they once relied on their body to survive, they now leverage their knowledge to thrive and lead. They turn their pain into power, their setbacks into setups, their wounds into wisdom. Let that sink in for a moment, because this is the shift we need to make. This is the recalibration. This is the spiritual, emotional, and mental revolution that Soft Girl Era is all about. Lee's story isn't just inspiring, it's instructive. And they gave us three key lessons that I want you to hold on to write down, to carry with you long after this talk is over. First, adversity is not destiny. Your challenges do not define your future. They can be the foundation for your growth and success. Think about that. The very thing that was supposed to break you can become the bedrock of your breakthrough, but only if you refuse to let it define you. Only if you choose to see it as fuel, not failure. Only if you decide that your past is not your prison, but your platform. Second, ownership and knowledge are power. Building skills, acquiring knowledge, and owning your narrative are essential for creating lasting impact and generational wealth. This is where the shift happens, sis. This is where you stop letting other people write your story and you pick up the pen yourself. You invest in yourself, you educate yourself, you own your truth, and you build something that outlasts you. You create something that your children's children can stand on. Third, representation and community matter. Seeing Black women succeed should inspire, not intimidate. Our collective wins are proof of possibility, not a zero sum game. We need to stop seeing each other as competition and start seeing each other as confirmation. Confirmation that it's possible, confirmation that we belong, confirmation that there's room for all of us at the table. And if there's not enough room, we build a bigger table. Now, let me share with you some of the powerful stories that Talee brought to our conversation, because these aren't just statistics. These are real women, real lives, real proof that this isn't just theory, this is reality. Let's talk about Karen Civil. Karen is a Black woman entrepreneur who built a digital empire by leveraging her skills and vision in media and technology. She didn't have a trust fund, she didn't have connections. She didn't have access to the rooms where decisions were being made, but she had vision. She had hustle. She had knowledge. And she refused to let the lack of access stop her. Karen faced limited opportunities, skepticism from every direction, and had to build her own lane in a field where Black women received less than 1% of venture capital funding. 1%, let that number sit with you for a second. 1%, that means 99% of the money is going somewhere else. That means the odds were stacked against her from the very beginning. But Karen didn't let that stop her. She used digital platforms to create wealth. She mentored young Black girls. She built programs to empower the next generation. She became a millionaire in her 20s, pioneered digital branding, and shifted the narrative for Black women in tech. She started with little, saw opportunity where others saw barriers, and built a bridge for herself and others. Her impact, she inspired thousands, showing that ownership and knowledge can transform lives. Karen didn't wait for permission. She didn't wait for someone to open the door. She built her own door. And then she held it open for the women coming behind her. Then there's Kathy Hughes. Kathy founded Urban One, becoming the first Black woman to head a publicly traded company. But her journey wasn't easy. She faced housing insecurity. She slept in her radio station because she didn't have anywhere else to go. She navigated a male dominated industry that didn't want her there, didn't believe in her, and certainly didn't think she could succeed. But Kathy relied on faith, strategic planning, and relentless execution to build her media empire. Today, Urban One is valued at over $900 million, and Kathy herself is a multimillionaire. From personal struggle to industry leadership, she built a platform that amplified Black voices. She broke open an industry, expanded into television, and created lasting financial empowerment. She changed the media landscape for Black Americans and proved that adversity can fuel industry transformation. She didn't just survive her circumstances, she used them as the foundation to build an empire that would change the world. Kathy's story reminds us that where you sleep tonight doesn't determine where you'll stand tomorrow. Your current situation is not your final destination, and your struggle is not your identity, it's your story. And every great story has a turning point. And here's the data that will blow your mind. From 2014 to 2019, businesses owned by Black women grew by 50%, the highest growth rate among all female demographics. 50%. That's not a typo, that's not an exaggeration. That's the truth. Black women are the fastest growing group of entrepreneurs in this country. But here's the part that should make you angry. Despite this rapid growth, Black women entrepreneurs face major funding gaps, earning only 0.34% of venture capital and 63 cents for every dollar earned by white men. Let me say that again, 63 cents for every dollar. We're doing the most and getting the least. We're building empires with crumbs. We're creating generational wealth with pocket change. And yet, we're still rising, driven by the need for flexibility, advancement, and control over their narratives. Black women are reshaping industries. Over $211 billion generated annually by Black women owned businesses with increasing representation and influence. $211 billion. That's not small. That's not insignificant. That's power. That's impact. That's proof. This is the shift. This is the power. This is what happens when we refuse to let adversity define us. This is what happens when we decide that our circumstances are not our ceiling, but our foundation. So, what happens if more people and organizations adopt this perspective? Tali believes, and I agree wholeheartedly, that if more individuals and organizations recognize adversity as a source of strength and prioritize knowledge and ownership, we would see a surge in Black women's leadership, innovation, and generational wealth. Barriers would be reframed as opportunities, and the narrative of limitation would shift to one of empowerment and possibility. Imagine that world for a second. Imagine a world where every Black woman who's been through hell and back is seen not as broken, but as brilliant, not as limited, but as limitless, not as a victim, but as a victor. That's the world Taylor is building. That's the world we're building together. Now, here's what Taylor wants you to remember, and I want you to take this with you when you leave this space today. Challenge yourself to turn your experiences, no matter how difficult, into fuel for your growth. Take ownership of your story, invest in your knowledge, and build something that outlasts you. The tools, the access, and the power are already in your hands. You hear that, sis? The power is already in your hands. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You don't need anyone to tell you that you're worthy. You already are. You already have everything you need. The question is, are you going to use it? This is what Soft Girl Era is all about. It's about releasing the cape. It's about redefining strength. It's about embracing softness without apology. It's about healing in real time. It's about protecting your peace as a practice. And it's about turning your pain into purpose. Tali's journey and the journeys of Karen Seivel and Kathy Hughes and the millions of Black women entrepreneurs out there grinding, building, and thriving, these are not anomalies. These are not exceptions. These are the rule. This is what happens when we stop believing the lies society tells us about our limitations and start believing the truth about our limitless potential. So here's my challenge to you today. Stop waiting for the world to give you permission to be great. Stop waiting for someone to validate your pain or your progress. Stop waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. Start now. Start messy, start scared, start anyway. Invest in your knowledge, own your narrative, build your empire, and do it softly, fiercely, unapologetically. Because the world doesn't need another Black woman in survival mode. The world needs you in your soft girl era, rested, restored, and ready to rewrite the rules. Tilly reminded me during our conversation that the tone, the energy, the passion behind this message matters. They spoke with a highly pitched, passionate, and energetic tone designed to inspire, uplift, and ignite action within every listener, especially those who have faced adversity and are ready to transform their lives. And that's the energy I want you to carry with you. This isn't just a conversation. This is a call to action. This is a revolution. This is your invitation to step into the fullness of who you were always meant to be. So let me leave you with this. Your adversity is not your enemy, it's your advantage. Your setbacks are not your story, they're your setup. And your pain is not your prison, it's your platform. The world is waiting for you to rise. The world is waiting for you to speak. The world is waiting for you to build. And the question is not whether you're ready. The question is, are you willing? Are you willing to let go of the lie that your past defines your future? Are you willing to invest in yourself even when no one else believes in you? Are you willing to build something that outlasts you, something that changes the trajectory for the next generation? Because here's the truth, you were made for this, you were built for this. And everything you've been through, every tear you've cried, every night you couldn't sleep, every moment you thought you couldn't go on, it was all preparation. It was all training. It was all building you into the woman you're becoming. So stop shrinking, stop apologizing, stop waiting. Your time is now, your moment is here, and your soft girl era is calling. Now go build something beautiful. Go build something that lasts. Go build something that changes the world. Because, sis, the world is waiting, and so is your future.